We are live. Good morning, good to me, good evening to Cami, and a good afternoon to everybody else. Welcome to the Godox Facebook Live with Cami Z, the very first time, the stranger, the person I'm kidding. She's a good friend of mine, been ages, right? Remember when we met back there with the Hanover times? We actually made over a Hanover in a photography class. That was pretty funny. And look at her now. She's a WPPI judge. She's a WPPI speaker, and she's an ambassador with multiple brands. She's one of the WPPI faces that you will constantly see on their webpage. So, and she's a great friend of mine. I love her work. I love her as a person. She's a beautiful person. She has great personality, and she's a great photographer. And while lots of people in the industry talk about how to do fancy things, she's going to teach you something simple but very useful that you can simply just take and use in every single wedding of yours and wow your clients. That's the way I see she's doing her photography. Of course, she has multiple awards, international awards. She took out the grand awards, right? Yeah, unlike grand awards in WPPI. But her work mostly will wow the clients as well. Let's say her awards image is her client's image. It's the image that you can potentially do in every single one of your weddings. And when I go through her slide, I was like, oh, okay, this is lots of stuff. So without any further delay, I'll let you talk about it. And let's just let her get started, shall we? Yeah.
Thank you.
More you want to? I'm nervous.
I just want to say, I made you nervous.
I was so afraid I was going to say something funny.
No, we shouldn't. Later. Thank you. That was a very nice introduction. I think one of the best things about this industry is actually to getting to know people and make friendship like ours. Like we live in two opposite sides of the globe, and still we're in touch the whole year, right? We talk about, we exchange ideas, we push each other on business, no matter where we are. I love that. As you said, I love to keep things simple, but beautiful. I think there's such a, hey, Ashley. There's this thing about natural light and OCF, and it's a split. And I think that there's a beautiful way to meet in the middle and do both, because throughout the wedding day, there's times that we're going to be using natural light. We're moving really fast. But if there's an opportunity to enhance the light or make it prettier or even create something more dramatic, hey, Florida neighbor. So why not, I think we can, if you have the opportunity to just make something more dramatic, let's do it. But even on the more dramatic ones, my goal always try not to make the flash or the strobe as the subject. I want to try my best to even things out. That's why I call it smooth, just to smooth that exposure and lighting. And it's simple. I try because I work with assistants and I don't have the luxury to have someone that's always there with me, like as a team. So sometimes I travel, I have to count on someone that never worked with me before. So I want to make sure it's a simple setup that I can get anyone that's available to help me. So let's go. And if you guys have questions, send my way. I'll do my best to answer. So
I have a question.
Go for it.
Can you try to pronounce Ashley's last name?
Just like mine.
All right. Okay, first question I'll answer. That's very positive to start with. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it's too early to have this kind of drunk joke. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Hello, Alabama.
Candace is like neighbor. She was just here and I was doing other photos of her kids. She's great. She works with Godox as well. And she does great use of lighting, which is great. When I have to refer someone, I like to refer someone on the same style. And I go to Candace. Yeah. All right.
Can we not see that you pick up this kind of talk? Like, it's neighbors.
Can we just chat, right?
I'm just gonna, yeah. I was just feel like you're going to rap sometime later down the road. I was like, yeah.
All right, listen. Focus. Just kidding. This photo that we show, it's actually, I thought about you, Arius, because you're always the one telling me to the direction of the light should the direction that you use your flash to be the same as the direction of the light of the sun. So when I positioned this light, I actually thought about it first. Where's my sun? The sun was setting on that left side. And instead of just using natural light, which I think I could clearly get a shot with natural light, I decided to add a strobe because then I can bring that exposure a little bit down to get the colors of the sky and use the flash. My flashes are usually in low power. So the flashes over here, it would be on camera left, pointing at the bride. And in that low power, just to enhance a little bit that light on her face. Thank you, Ashley Castanis.
Just to know that you pronounced that wrong, but yeah.
Oh man.
That's all right. Last time, she was live. I think the first time we did a Facebook live session, she asked me to pronounce her name properly. I think I got it 3 times wrong. So yeah.
Say my name right.
Z. That's easy. Cami Z. Yeah.
Were you paying attention to what I was saying, Arius?
Yeah. Yes, please. Okay, let's focus. So lights come from the direction of the lights. Why would you use low powers? Why would you use very low power? Because
I wanted it to look natural on this one. So had I gone a little bit brighter, it would be too strong to this particular exposure. So then it would be too fleshy for what I wanted to try to achieve. You can go a little bit lighter, but it wouldn't be to how I wanted. And there's a potential that would kind of blow the middle of the dress out too. It's a little it's interesting, like every fabric, every dress also takes the light different. This white being shiny, sometimes when the flash hits a shinier dress, it reflects more light, it gets brighter. So I like to use low power.
Sure. Here's a question. Can you draw the light position?
Can you? I don't know if they can they see? I cannot draw on this photo. Can you draw on that one, Arius? I don't have access to. I don't have access to the screen. It's your screen that you're sharing.
It's on PT. I wouldn't be. And by the way, it's image as well. But we do have I think we do have a few slides down the road where we actually draw the lights or show the lights.
Sorry, I don't have a BTS
so Jose,
every photo,
Yeah, but we do have a lot of those. So stay tuned. That will probably help you out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when Ashley say ha ha ha, it's very serious. She's probably going to block you on Facebook because you pronounce her last name wrong. Oh God, you did it again. Okay, gosh.
Sorry. There are photos that I have a BTS. We will get through those, and then you guys start seeing that it's the same kind of position all the time until you guys get very bored with it. So it's the same position as this one. So is it Jose that was asking? Same position as this. That's a soft box at a 45 angle. That way. What's different on this one is the sun is on the back. So this is the situation where sometimes when we're trying to shoot something scenic, then instead of making something that'll be technically correct, which is getting the same direction of the sun and everything, I am choosing to have the sun, on the image, and then just lighting them from the left. But you can see that the light is, again, it's very low, that once you eliminate the assistant, which is on the next slide, you can see the photo without the assistant and without the distractions on the back. It's oh, click to add title. That's great. So like once you delete, it's not flashy. Sorry, I'm a pro at PowerPoint. So they are not flashy and bright and white, right?
Yep.
See that? So that's why I call it smooth. You just don't see that the light is there.
Yep. Better?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back. Maybe let's just zoom that in a bit. How do I zoom in? Oh, here. So people can see the details where the lighting assistant is. That's
Anna.
Is that Eddie? Oh, that's Anna. Oh, okay.
Anna. That's where Addie works. She still works there. But that's where Addie works.
Yeah. Is it hard to retouch all the person who's in the photo?
No. It's actually what I use a lot is I select them. I don't know the name, but it's I use content aware fill, right? You select, circle context around it, content aware fill, and then just go with the brush, and I zoom in all the way, and then just retouch a little bit. In certain situations, not usually on sunset. On sunset, I move really fast because sunset light changes super fast. But if I'm shooting on indoor or something that has more architecture, I try to remember to take a blank slate if I need to composite later, which I'll show. There is one of the images that has that. But on these ones, I just do a content-aware fill.
So yeah, which way would you prefer?
Every situation is different. I will show you what I don't prefer. There's a couple slides that will show you what not to do.
Why I'm worried about it.
Sometimes I get home and I'm like, why did I tell the assistant to be there? It's easier to put the assistant in easy places to remove. Like even on this photo, I should have put the assistant back a little bit more. So the Spanish moss was not there. Just using the sky would be easier to do a content aware fill than behind the Spanish moss. But again, you're moving fast,
That works like a charm. You see, flawless. Perfect.
Yeah, and I deleted also. You can see that I removed all of the little tiny distractions from the back, like the little houses, the light poles, and all that.
Yeah, that looks good. Here's a question for you. From Huan.
Oh man, what did I use on this one? I don't remember. I was still shooting with Nikon, so it was either a D850 or a D810. My two to-go lenses for weddings are the 24-70 2.8 and a 70 to 200 2.8. On this one, it was probably a 24-70 and zoom into 70. But it's a guess. Sorry, I don't remember. I think that's the most of the time why I don't talk live, because I don't remember things. But I'll try to help. As to how I edit, I start my workflow on Lightroom. So I batch everything, and then I do Photoshop just if I have to remove something.
Yeah. I also been with Cami in a couple of her workshops and classes. I noticed because lots of people, because for her retouching is really fast and straightforward. As long as you have a good lighting, you have a good base, right? The way she's doing her retouching is very subtle and on the natural side. Let's say on the natural side. So there wouldn't be much retouching going on there, but it does require a good lighting because you just make sure the face are properly lit, properly the face in lots of scenario will be the brightest spots of the image, and in the retouching, it's just all boost the contrast a bit and change hue saturation. and you'll be good to go.
Most of these images that are here, I just selected out of the proofing galleries. I didn't go to the retouching because I think it's a lot easier for everybody to see the unretouched work.
Yeah.
The retouching that you guys see, it's pretty much to remove the assistant and the light. But what I do, I try my best to shoot using the histogram, so I know how much play I have on the shadow side. And then part of my Lightroom workflow is to open the shadows a little bit. I don't want to open the shadows too much because it adds noise to the photo. So I try to shoot where I'm not making my images too dark, solid dark. So keep an eye on your histogram. And then I just open the shadows a little bit. But most of these images are pretty much, that's how they got out of camera, with the exception of removing the assistant and the lighting. Like these two right now. And I'm going to be mixing the different times of the day on the wedding and something simple, so you guys don't see only the cool stuff, because it's the same thing. I'm carrying that light, the same strobe, or like the 600, or sometimes the 300, sometimes the 200, with me throughout the day. And so with the same light, and I'm creating different things throughout the day. It resembles a little bit more natural light, but I do have a strobe on the front of both groups, so the girls and the guys off to the right, just to illuminate them a little bit more, so I'm just not exposing for the shadow and lifting. I want to make sure I'm illuminating them a little bit more, so you can see both the shot of the groomsmen. No, at this time of the day, it's pretty much midday. I'm probably working with a 600. It gives me more power, but also it recycles a little bit faster. When people are having fun and they're moving fast, sometimes I shoot fast. So I like to have the 600 to give me that flexibility.
Yeah. Is it only one? Is it only one 600?
Only one 8600 Pro. Towards the right. And you can see on his face how he's more illuminated from the right. And the guys are on the shadow. You can see the different exposure on his face. And then areas, if you slide to the left a little bit more, you can see the guys on the shadow. If he didn't have the light,
you're referring to the slide to right, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So to the right, you can see them in the left, right.
Yeah.
You can
yeah.
So you can see so you can see the guys over there on shadow. That's how he would be looking if he didn't have a light on him. He pops a little bit more because he's the subject, and it still looks natural. I didn't bring it down, the whole exposure, nothing like that.
I guess to continue the topic about the Lightroom and Photoshop, I guess in a sense, we have to realize in wedding industry, we have to we are going to shoot at least thousands of images per wedding as a average wedding photographer, and then you at least need to deliver hundreds of photos to your clients, right? Yeah. Imagine if you have to go to Photoshop, spend 5 minutes on each single photo, right? If you only deliver, let's say, you are at the lower end of the spectrum, you only deliver 200 photo, which, it's absolutely lower end. You got to spend 5 minutes on each single photo. That's 1,000 minutes of your time. That's how many hours, Cami?
You do the math.
That's like 16 hours. That's pretty much means you have to at least retouching them 2 days on every single wedding, without talking about the cutting through of the image, color correcting those images. So you spend 4 days to, realistically for each single wedding. You just couldn't even do a back-to-back wedding because it's just
a lot
going to
easier
take too much of your time. Yeah.
To shoot better in camera. Even people that carry a lot of equipment, it's just for a pop of light. Yeah, but that little pop of light, even if I'm using a low power, it's saving me time on post-production later. So yes, I'd rather have someone help me and we carry the light and we fix it on camera.
Yeah. So basically using a light assistant in some way is saving your life, saving your own time to spend with your family. In your case, your son. In my case, spend with my kids. And you know,
it's
if you
fun.
haven't,
It's fun to have
yeah,
someone, you know, it is great to be able to talk to someone, to chat, or, you know, like bounce back and forth. I don't know. I like to have people with me.
yeah. Can you let's move down to next slides? But before you talk, let's talk about next slides. Can you answer those questions? Do you use
The wedding,
yes,
the
yeah?
wedding party shot, the
Yeah.
600?
Do you use yeah?
On that 600 shot, it was probably the, on the wedding party shot, it was probably the 600. Yes, because it was in the middle of the day. When I'm working the middle of the day outside with the group, I'm probably carrying a 600 if it's sunny. Yes, I think the way I approach light and the equipment that I have is in my car or in the gear on a wedding day. I will have everything. I'll have a 600, I'll have a 300, I'll have a 200, I'll have like small strobes all packed up with me. I'm ready for whatever situation. So when I'm indoors, I'm using probably smaller strobes. When I'm outdoors and it's sunny and I'm shooting groups and things are fast paced and I need more recycling power and more power in case I'm trying to, you know, beat the sun, so that I'm using the higher end strobe, so 600. As if I'm shooting a sunset session or I'm transitioning from sunset to reception outdoors, I know that I'm going to lose light very quickly and I'm not going to need that much power. So I'm using a 200, which has great power, and I can lower all the way to 128. But then I also have a small strobe, like the Godox speed light, because at one point, if the 128 becomes a 128 power of the 200 becomes too much, I can just use the small strobe just for a little bit of light. So I like to have that flexibility, but it's a matter of always just thinking, how long am I working here? What's the space that I'm going to work and how much light do I need? So there's not a set rule. I can get to a wedding. It can be cloudy and it can be just, you know, like that muggy weather that's kind of gloomy. I can probably work with the 200 all day. So it's just, it's trying to think how much light do you need for that environment, and you'll be able to make a decision what strobe you want. Is that right, Arius? Makes sense?
Yes. So the question was, there's another question says, do you 600 BM or 600 Pro? I guess you have both. Is it?
What? I remember. What's the BM? Is it the first one?
BM was the manual. Yeah. Hey, Sarah. The BM was the manual one, the older version. The 8600 Pro is the new one, I think, which is the one you got with TTL functionalities.
So I use my lights at manual at all times. I believe the group shot, it was before the Pro was out. So it was probably the older one, but I always shoot in manual. Okay. I want to have control.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll answer this question, Michael.
Thank you.
This particular one was done by BM, but the later photo done by Cami is using 8600 Pro, which is the later model. And another question is, do you use high speed, or you, I guess, generally on your images? For example, let's just go this one. Did you use high speed sync?
Probably
or not. like what Clement asked, do you use ND filter?
I don't use ND filter. I don't own an ND filter. I actually
so ND filter is off the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High speed sync on this one, no. I tend to stay away from high speed sync in darker backgrounds like this because I wanna the ambient light in and also around them, the shadows on the background and everything. I will use high-speed sync sometimes when it's brighter outside and I want that bluer sky on the beach and things like that. But it's not a rule of when, like, if I'm using high-speed sync. I usually don't. It's only if I'm afraid that's gonna, you know, if the flash power is too low, like I was saying, sometimes I use low power, then I'm afraid it's gonna blur, so then I bring it up.
Yeah. So with the dancing image, is a high-speed sync or not? How about this one?
No, because I wanted to bring in that sky. So that this it's
Okay.
already getting very dark. I'm
Yeah.
probably at 1/60th or 100 on the first one, and then on
Yeah.
the darker one, because they're not even dancing, it's peaches. I think it's even slower. But now I have two lights. Those lights are kind of freezing them a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah. So, Enid, just to add to what Kemi said, when you use Flash, it's the advantage from Flash comparing with continuous light is Flash helps you to freeze the motion a bit, so that even you are on slow shutter, while if the ambient light is very low, then you probably can get away with still get a sharp image, even while the people were moving, like slow dance in this scenario. I hope that helps. All right, let's
Yeah. Going
continue
back to
maybe.
to reception shots.
Yep.
This kind of shot, I am very careful. The most delicate part of the thing is to keep that flash very low. And I don't know, someone asked me about ND filter earlier. Sometimes
That's
I'll
by
use ND.
Clement.
Yeah, and I actually, and Clement, I know this is not what you ask, but it just made me remember. Sometimes if I'm using a light, let's say at 200, sometimes I actually add an ND filter to the light. So I have those ND filters for light to cut light. If I'm raising my ISO to make sure I can use my flash very nice and low to look natural, to look smooth. I know that was not the question, but I'm like, oh, hold on. Sometimes we can use ND on our lights.
Okay. And what about 8300 for beginners? What's your thought?
It's a great light. It's so versatile, but it is really about what are you shooting? What's your goal? How much light do you need? Are you going to be needing a lot of power, or are you going to be, using very little power? It really depends on what you want to shoot. It's not, there's no rule about which strobe do you need. It's more about your goal, how much power you need, where are you going to be using that, and then you'll be able to make a good decision.
Yeah. So Shark, it really depends on your the kind of style you want to shoot. Are you overpowering the sound? Are you shooting or you are balancing the sound? Do you live in a city which is a bit cloudy like London, or you're living in under Florida sun as Cami, right? For Cami's scenario, if it's noonday, she absolutely wants her 8600 to take out, right? And I believe if she has a 801200, she will use it as much power as possible. You can see she's using the lights for huge group shots in this case in the midday or afternoon. But for your scenario, we don't know if you just shoot a single portrait in the noontime and you're balancing the sound, you can get away with it. If you want to use 8300 with modifier for the sunset shot, you can get away with it. It really depends on how much power or what sort of the style you are going towards with.
I think a good way.
Yeah, but to be honest, I do think personally, I think 8300 is a great light for beginners. Number one, it's very light to carry around. Number two, it's Godox mount. The modifier is pretty small, and you can use 0 to no assistant for that light. If it's light by itself, it's very, very small. It's almost similar size with my iPhone 12 Max Pro. Or 24 to 70 lens. If you are using a modifier, the modifier is going to be small too. So as a beginner, I do think it's a great light to start with because you can shoot bare bulb as well as modifiers. Later on down the road, when you find out you need a bit more power or you need a bit more versatility, then you can go for other lights. You can go for other lights.
The 300 nowadays is one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah. Here's our good friend, Kojima. Oh man, we miss you.
I know. It's a reunion.
Yeah. I was hoping to visit Japan again, during the end of the year and see the red leaves. But I guess maybe next year. Maybe next year.
That's such a dapper photo in his profile.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that's our answer, which is good. Okay.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, I'm glad we.
You want to talk about this image? And guys, just keep on dropping your comments below. We will answer them after this slide.
All right. So this, it's not that common to happen weddings that I need to do such a large group outside. But through communication, and asking the right questions before the wedding, the bride did communicate that she wanted that large group shot. So I packed a larger modifier, and I made sure the bigger light was with me, the AD600. So my large modifier was definitely to spread it out and soften, even though I'm outside. And you can see I pretty much, I think I was at full power over here. And because it was kind of cloudish, it was okay to have just one. And it literally at full power 600, it was just for a feel. You can tell that you don't really see anyone super bright and flashy. It was just for a tiny little touch of light. But again, just like we were talking about retouching, it was easier to use that light and an umbrella and just have everybody nice, even lit, than have to retouch and bring them and make them look flat in post-production later.
Hello, Henry. Just Henry Jones saying hi.
Hi.
And what size modifier? It's I guess it's 165 umbrella, something, or 180 umbrella.
It's not the largest, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm struggling to convert that to inches. If you guys are from the United States,
I think it's like, I don't know. I think it's like 52.
Yeah.
But hold on, is it? You keep changing the questions.
No, it's just keep on popping through. I don't have too many questions. And the question was, what type of camera are you using?
That was still when I was shooting Nikon, and
how about
it
now?
Was either now I shoot Sony.
Like, how about the story? Like what I told you? That's fun.
Anyways, so it is.
I was saying this is going to backfire on me, but
I don't know. Yeah, I got lost. So Ahmed, it was Nikon.
Okay.
But you could shoot that with any camera.
So Sana is using 200, 8600.
Oh yeah.
He's asking about how about V1?
So again, on the beginning I was saying I like to carry all lights with me. I love my toys. I keep the V1, so I keep 200, I keep 300, 600, all ready to go. And then if I need one light setup, two light setup, three light, whatever power, I have it. So yes, the V1 is great.
I guess V1 will be to me. Yeah, I like V1. Yeah, I like V1 because V1 can. Yeah, I use it quite extensively because number one, it's the on-camera flash. When you get it ready in a dark room, you just bounce off the ceiling. Does it make sense? It's probably the simplest kind of lights you can get. And number two, because you can use them as on-camera flash as well as a trigger to trigger all your 8200 and 8600 in your case. So I think it will be great trigger. You have one less trigger to carry around.
Actually, as you can see, even on that photo, I have a flash on camera. It's because sometimes you're moving indoor, outdoor, indoor, outdoor. So I like to keep a flash on camera just because then if I go indoor, I can bounce it. So I like. Some people say, "Oh, but what are you bouncing?" Because no, I'm not using it on that photo. But 5 minutes before, I was indoors taking the family, photo, and I just bounced on the wall. So it's good to have one of those on camera.
Exactly.
But bouncing. Ooh, all right.
Ooh, nice.
So this one is a 2-light setup, and the main light is to camera right at a 45 degree with a soft box, and then I have a one on the back, and it's a little warm. I usually like to add a quarter CTO, a half CTO on the back, so it warms up a little bit more on the backlight. And just so you guys can see the versatility of having the light, as I'm shooting this, I have the whole family behind me, and they thought that was really pretty. And they was like, oh, can you do our photos? And suddenly I started to I did about 20 different group photos of family right after I took this portrait. And I put one of them here for you guys to see. So with the same setup, and it's after the sun goes down, you have beautiful portraits, either the bride or groom or as a family. So if you put the next one, Aries, you see the group. So ta-da, so I didn't move anything, and I was able to get the group and many variations. Like everybody was wanting photos in front, because this was like the barn of the family property. So it was really cool just to stay there and do it. Whether if you're doing natural light, it would be a completely different scene. You'd be just like washed out, and your ISO would be through the roof because there was no more sun, there was no more nothing there. So carry a little light to keep. All right.
Can we jump to this image? Can we answer a few questions here?
Yeah.
The question from Ritesh, I think it's asking which one's better, 8600 or 8400?
So I think the best way to ask these questions, guys, if you want to ask about light, give us a scenario. So tell us what you want to shoot, how you want to shoot, if you want a moody image or bright image, and if you're shooting on a bright sun or at night, and we'll be able to kind of give you maybe a little more guidance on what strobe you need. The 600 has a little bit more power than the 400. So if you need to be in the middle of the day in the sun, I would go with the 600, but the 400 is a pretty good light too, right, Aries? What do you say?
Yeah, I think they're all very good. It just depends on the scenario. And
give us a scenario, and then we'll help you equip you.
So another besides the power, the difference will be, do you use Bowen mounts? Do you have lots of Bowen mounts modifiers, or do you have lots of Godox mount modifiers? You can combine your 8400 with your 8300 because they're both Godox mounts, so their modifiers are interchangeable. But if you have lots of existing, I guess, Bowen mount modifiers, then just go for 8600 because 8600 is Bowen mount. That's another way I would see it. Yep. Just Cami, he's asking, do you use your modifiers on V1?
The V1 has a great modifier in itself, which is the little dome.
Yeah, AKR1.
So, so when I'm using my V1, I keep what comes with Godox.
That pretty much, the AKR1 pretty much covers everything, like the dome, the grid, the color gel. It's a something round and tiny, fits in your bag. You should absolutely check them out. I think that's best. I think $30 or $40 I've ever spent on my accessories. Yeah, and it's pretty cheap too.
Talk to me.
Okay, which one do you use more in V? Still, which one do you use more in V1? I guess the most frequent one will be the grid and the dome. Grid and the dome. They're both part of the AKR1 kit. Yeah.
Grid
they're both AKR1 kit.
If you want to learn to control light, playing with the grid is the best because it really narrows down and it reduces spill, which is going to save you a lot of time in Photoshop. So, you don't have to be cleaning up the mess after.
I think this is compromise, like how beautiful the Nikon colors are.
Well, right now it's a Sony photo. Like you don't know. That's the thing. I cannot tell. Yeah. I think you can use. It really depends. Whenever you're using light, colors change. That's the thing. I think it's more about the skill with light than it is the different equipment you're using.
Yeah, it's more about your skills, the way you light your subject, rather than the piece of standard industry CMOS or CCD. In this case,
because there's weddings that, as I was transitioning, I was shooting with both Nikon and Sony at the same time, and yeah.
I think Sana is asking if you have a choice, would you go for 860 or V1? 860 is a square traditional ultra flash. V1 is the round head for ultra flash. If it's me, I'll just go for V1 simply because it's easier. Yeah. Simply it's because it's easier to put the AKR1 grade and domes on. It's just so easy. It's not about the power. It's just much easier to put accessories. And as wedding photographers, we just don't have time to use. It's just so much easier with AKR1. That's all.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to talk about this slides? And after that, we'll keep on answering questions. Guys, just make sure you drop your comments below, and we'll answer the questions after this and the following slides.
So this is something, of course, I don't usually do. Like to add lights to a ceremony, I don't usually do that because I want to, keep it clean for them, not have light stands there. However, this is one of COVID weddings where they got pushed the date because they couldn't have their normal date. And the only date that they had available was after sunset. So as the bride is walking down the aisle, the sun was already dropped. And it was going to be dark. I didn't want to just shoot with my ISO all the way up the whole time. I did that. I did some photojournalistic like that, but I think it would be beautiful to capture what it really was, like to get a pretty sky, to give the idea so they can remember that reality was the sun was, gone, and that's the moon back there, and that's how they got married. So if I didn't have lights, you would just look all washed out. And why not give them the real sense? And so I added the lights to capture that, removing post-production. And on this one, I have AD200 on the right side. That's why it's a little bit further, because yes, my ISO was higher. I wanted to make sure it was just a little bit of light. And on the left side, it's a smaller strobe. I believe it was the 860. And the reason why I have a 200 and a smaller strobe is because I knew that it was already darker. I didn't need a strobe with a lot of power after this. So for family, for the portraits of the couple and things like that, I needed very little light working on the dark. So that was how I made that choice of a 200 and a small strobe on the left. Always manual. I never shoot TTL. I always shoot manual. I love, being able to tell the camera and the light what to do. The way I see, and the best way for me to learn how much power I need is I look at the scene and I take an exposure without the flash, right? I turn off my lights, or even like just mentally, I turn off the lights. I look at the subject and I think, do I need a little light or do I need a lot of light? If I need a little light, I'm looking at low power. I'm looking at 128, 64, 32. Now, if I think, I need a lot of light, so let's say that if it's middle of the day that the subject is in harsh shadow, it's a deep, dark shadow. So then you need more light. So I think on my brain, that's how I learned to do it. That's, do I need a lot of light or a little light? So you make like those decisions and you start either from a low point or from a high point. Does that make sense, Arias? It's easy to understand.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Next page.
Same couple. So we transitioned from the ceremony, and I asked them during the planning, I was like, okay, as your ceremony is going to be dark, let's do your family foremost during the reception. But let's move to do really quickly so we still have some sky, because beach and pitch black, there's really, you have to wait for the Milky Way. That will be the next thing, right? So I told them, let's move really fast to do your portraits. And I used that very same light setup, a 200 and a small strobe, very similar exposure, to do some portraits and then move really quick to the reception while we have some, like tail end of the light, of the daylight to get their first dance. But that's So that's how the thought about what gear I'm bringing, what lights were good for the situation. It was just on my head. Like, what do I need? Do I need a lot of light or a little bit of light?
Just one question. How do you get dressed to fly so nicely? Do you ask them to throw the dress or?
I have see like she's holding, and I always tell them to do half circles and really play with the train. So they are playing with it. You can tell that she's doing the movement. I'm not looking for perfection on her arms or posing or anything. So I do this movement a couple times until we get it. And I dance and I show my arms. Oh, David, hi.
Oh, miss you, David.
Right. Dawn is gonna cue me that I put that photo. Dawn is the one that's helping me there. She's helping show them how to pose. But same thing, you see, same kind of lighting. One with softbox on the right and then a backlight. Well, this one has a little bit more CTO because to mimic those lanterns over there. I know, right? Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's a great pose. I'm just saying. That's good times. It's good times. All right. Yep.
This is interesting. When I first went with her over there, there was a harsh light coming from the window, right? So the light that's actually hitting the pews is harsh light. So I was able to add a little bit stronger power instead of just using what I like, the soft and low. I did put a little bit more flesh on her because that's what that scene was giving me. So it keeps like on your brain, kind of, is it flash? Is it the window? You know, so my clients will know. Now, if you move to the next one, when I went back with the couple, it was already a little bit darker and gloomier. The chandeliers were up. And that's Sarah over there. Sarah! So Sarah was holding the light on the left side. And you can tell I don't have that harsh light coming from the window anymore. And I actually use that soft box, which is usually my main light, I'm using as a fill. And that's the thing. It's not because you have the bigger light that you have to be using that as a main. Very often I use my soft box as a fill because it's a lot softer, or as a backlight. I love using a soft box as a backlight because it's such a smooth, beautiful, soft light on the back.
Yeah. And here's a couple questions. Clement's asking, do you use expo disc? I'm not too sure what he said, but I guess it's great cards.
Sarah actually uses that. I never use it. She showed me for the first time the piece of equipment. It's something that you put on your lens and then you spin and it gives you color temperature. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't use it.
Like for waiting, I just use the white balance drop tools, eye drop tools over bright stress. It works like a charm.
I use it. I don't go crazy because it's either a little cold, a little warm. You know, it's and then the CTO gels to warm it up if I need to. I wing it.
Yeah. And here's a question. I'm not sure I'm quite following it, but
hold on. If I use the flash.
You were limited to any of the greatest power I use while I'm using in the party photos. I order not to destroy the flash. In order not to.
I never use very rarely I use full power.
Yeah.
At the party, so I think if you're putting your flash at full power, I'm guessing here. If you're putting your flash at full power at a party or reception, that means your ISO is probably super low. If you if you rebalance your exposure triangle there, put more ISO, open up a little bit more your aperture, you'll be able to use less light. But I'm not sure if that's what you meant, Ahmed. Sorry.
Ahmed, if it's a night reception, usually your ISO should be 2000 ISO 2000 plus. With a prime lens, with a zoom lens, you're probably looking at 3200 plus. If that's correct ISO, then if you're sitting in that kind of ISO, you should never use your full power, especially on camera, right? Unless you're going for some dramatic look like Ashley did last week, then it's different. I mean, generally speaking, in terms of on-camera flash, you shouldn't be able to need the full power. So maybe just adjust, maybe just adjust your camera exposure a bit. That would help, rather than use full power to drain the lights or drain the battery.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, stay tuned. I
don't know.
Yeah, the short answer is I don't know. The long answer is stay tuned. We never know what's going to happen in the future. I never thought there's a light going to be 81200. Who knows? There might be a light with every 812,000 coming out. Stay tuned. Be positive.
I want invisible light stands before that.
I want Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. All right. So I am in this new area, right? I moved, and it's really interesting because most of the weddings are at homes. It's like Airbnbs. People rent Airbnbs and have wedding on the beach. So you gotta get creative.
Is that with a ceremony? Sort of number limits, or
no? It's just the market. I think it was already like this before. Yes, there are some venues, but there's a lot of just small weddings as before COVID. This was before COVID.
Okay.
So you gotta get creative at backyards, right? This is the middle of the day. That's what I had to work with. It's a cool pool and stuff. But if you see like the behind the scenes where I'm shooting, I didn't find like the background. Yeah, like we did photos there, but what else could I do? So with the use of flash, you can get a little bit more creative. I went to the shaded side of the pool, but instead of just going for flat light, exposing for the shadow, I got 8200 with the grid to make sure the light would be just on him. And even with the grid, because we're so close to the wall, see, like we had like 1 foot, 1.5 feet where he's standing. I had whoever was holding the light to keep the hands protecting to, from the light from spilling on the wall. And I could get the light just on his face, and then did another creative cropping using the reflection. And we got a cool portrait of the groom. That's Candace.
Love this one. Yeah.
So this is in Alabama. It's we were walking around Fairhope, and I saw a brick wall, right? Always great to find a brick wall. We can come up with stuff. But when I saw the lamp up there, I figured we can come up with something with flash. And even though we're in the middle of the day, why not? We're in the shaded area. Again, why just go for the flat? So I decided to pretend that light is on. Ask Candace to put the flash. Yay, Candace! Thank you for your help. To hold the flash from under that lamp.
The credits go to Candace, who lit the subject, puts the light in the correct position. Cami just clicked the shutter.
Oh, I always say, for people to understand what I'm saying, understand what's in my mind, is like mission impossible. I don't even know how they do that. I don't even understand myself. So there's a grid over there, and it's just mimicking like there's a spotlight. And again, how could you ever do that without a light? And yet it's so simple, right? There's no. It is just thinking a little bit outside the box. Got rid of that window to make it a little bit, a stronger composition, and then boom. But again, it was Candace. It was all Candace. Ooh, Anna.
Right? Yeah. That's Anna. Yeah.
and I got married.
Oh man, I miss our time together. I miss all the fun we had.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Unbelievable. It's
I
been
know.
locked down. Yeah.
Anyways.
All right.
So on this sequence, I think I just wanna go again, same thing, right? 2 lights, one at 45, one on the back, but instead of directly from the back, it's a little bit from the angle, kind of to highlight the back and the booty, like it gives a little bit more shape. But you get the pretty sunset, and then if you just change your light, so keep the couple on the same place because the sky is so pretty, you don't want to move too much. I was actually really far. I was shooting with the long lens to bring, to make that sky a little bit like nicer. If you go to the next one, it's instead of just doing a pure silhouette, I put the light on the back and created something a little bit darker for them. If you go forward, Ariel.
Yep.
Next one. So yeah, another pose, remove the lights, but that, just turn off the main light, move the assistant to the back, and that's probably like a quarter CTO to give a little orangey. It could be even more, I think, like looking at right now, I would put like a half or even, to get orangier and a little lower.
It's very hard to remember those. Yeah.
It's hard, right?
It's just go with your flow, really. Yeah. The trick is pack all the color gels in your bag.
Yeah. But created something different. And again, had we not have that light to kind of separate it from the back, it would be just a muddy. There was no silhouette like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. Actually, how do you, I just love the dramatic pose of the couple. How did you communicate? Is that your, did you teach them Brazilian sort of dance?
Yeah, I make a fool of myself because I do open and extend and talk funny. I don't hold back when I'm shooting, like I am very expressive, as you see, like I'm talking to my hands the whole time over here.
Yeah.
Same thing when I'm shooting. I wear a holster so I can keep the cameras on my waist when I'm talking to people, and then I just open my wings, spread my arms and talk to them. But Anna was amazing to photograph because she has worked over 100 weddings, 200 weddings with me. So she experienced so much of us trying so hard, to get people to have fun and do it, that she just got in front of the camera and she was happy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so fast. I can't believe Anna's married.
Yeah. She already had an anniversary now. All right.
Should we talk about this one?
So this one, I guess you can see that adding the diffusion on the backlight. I think if you move to the next one, you will see more like a little bit better. See like the glow on her veil?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of shooting wide and 2 lights, adding the little glow on the veil with the backlight. And it doesn't, because backlight sometimes is overdone and super powerful. You don't have to. You can make something nice and pretty to look natural. And the sky on this shoot completely changed 5 minutes from there, and you can see on the next photo. So having those lights, you can capture that instead of same shoot. And that was about, like a 5-minute thing that we had. So if you don't have light, how can you capture that? You'd be like a pastel, like, Yeah. Do you have questions for us, Aries? If not,
no. So far, so good.
Everybody fell asleep.
Not really. I guess people, I quite actually sit down and enjoy all the talks we had.
Oh.
That's your bird, right?
I bring the bird.
That's your bird. We named Jackson. Fly out every single time.
I practice bird calls, so I can attract the birds on my shoot. So the bird. They show up, and it was great someone was asking about high-speed sync. So you see how slow my shutter actually is. The bird is not frozen. The bird is a little, he's a movement, and we're gonna call it motion blur because it adds motion to the scene. But it's because I'm shooting at a low speed to bring that ambient light in to show that beautiful sky. Yeah, get it on the bird.
See how crispy sharp your subject is because they are lit by flash.
And they're not flying.
Yeah. They're not flying. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, my shutter speed tends to be slow to bring this light from the sky in. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the question asking, are these always 8200?
Yeah. Yeah. On the front, on the back, I have just a small, I think. Can you zoom in on that, Aries?
Okay. Let's have a look, shall we?
Yeah, see, that's just a 860 on the back.
860 or something like that.
Yeah, I like to have the option of I have a strobe with very little power when it gets dark, so I don't have to be cutting power. So it's a 8200 in the front and a little strobe on the back.
Cool.
That's Anna on the bushes, on the backlight. Same thing. I did 200 and then a small strobe on the back because it's getting dark. This one is also very slow
to give a bit separation.
Yes, because I want to make sure, and I'm shooting with my eye on the histogram because you see, like when you have trees on sunset, they get very dark and muddy super fast. Like if you want to get a sky and the trees in shadow, I always pay attention to the trees. So you're not losing the detail on those trees. So keep an eye on a histogram so you can bring that shadow back and have detail on those trees.
Cool.
Same couple. So another thing is, as you shoot a scene, and mainly at this time of the day that you don't have light coming naturally anymore, look around because you may be able to do tons of photos just from spinning, you know, like you take a photo in the front, look on your back, what's the scene on the back, and just work with that same setup, same exposure really quick. So I am standing pretty much on the very same spot. I look one side, I took that one, I looked to the other side, and I took them sitting there.
So you have a backlit with 860 with a grade? With a grade? Oh no, with a dome or grade.
This one has a dome because I really wanted.
Dome.
Yeah, this one has the dome because I wanted to spread out, and I did want to illuminate those lines, and so you went everywhere. The one previous, I didn't have dome. You can see, and I was actually holding it, waiting, because I didn't want the light to spread out.
Makes sense. And with a front light, it's a 8200 with a softbox, right?
Same setup.
Cool. I'm just saying it's interesting, like how different photographers with the same lights and in very similar scenario and choose different way of lighting. Last week, I had a chat with Ashley. Her way is, because she doesn't have an assistant, that's the way she likes to work. She's having the 8200 on a light stand, placing right behind the subject. Usually with this kind of scenario, she usually just gives full power. And the light will bounce around, sort of give them a tiny field light, and that's pretty much it. And one light, that's all she is, because she doesn't have an assistant. It's amazing that you almost with the same lights, but you use them in different ways, right? Because you use 8200 as a key light rather than a backlight, right? To give them a face properly illuminated with a softbox. And yet you add another light with very subtle backlight as a 860 in the background. I'm just saying it's amazing. Each one of us are unique creative photographers, right? Or unique artists, and each one of us have our own way of seeing this world and capturing the beauty of it.
That's the biggest thing. I think with the same scene and the same tools, we can now create so many different things if you just stop, breathe, and think. Because even if I decided to change the lights and not move them, you can create things. And that's the power of using lights. You have more flexibility. It's almost like you have a canvas and now you using those lights as your tool, think out of the box. This one, actually, I brought more backlight areas because there's a chandelier there, right? Yeah. So it's not so interesting. If I didn't have the chandelier on my head, I wouldn't even put that much light because I want to make sure it makes sense. I tend not to go with light when it doesn't connect. When there's a connect for the light, that's when I'm like, okay, it justifies being there.
So the backlight is almost mimicking the chandelier that actually
in a weird way, right? Because it's
the ceiling, the wood structure as well as the couple, right?
Yeah. But you can
hear a nice rim light.
Yeah, you can tell the flowers are brighter and everything, but they're still not overpowering that chandelier. So it's. I like to think a little bit about how can I connect those dots.
Yeah. Can we just address a few questions here? What is your main lens?
For weddings, João Carlos, are you Brazilian, João Carlos? My main lens for wedding, 7200 2.8 and a 2470 2.8. I think those are my two go on a wedding day. I have different ones. If I have the opportunity, I love to use a very wide lens, 12 to 24, which I got the GM and it's sweet. It's so good.
Oh, you have 22 to 24, 12 to 24 GM. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's sharp all the way around. It's beautiful. Yeah. I do have a macro lens. Nowadays I have the 90, but the on the go to keep like the thick of the wedding is the 2470 and 72 to 100. All right.
Okay, cool.
Questions or this one?
And have you used the 8300?
Yes, we actually have some family shots. I think they're coming soon that were done with the 300. I love the 300. It's my favorite light nowadays. Yeah.
All right.
This one. So this one, I had a camera. We were talking earlier, right, about having a flash on camera for whatever reason, and I bounced. See, like I'm using the flash on camera, bouncing to illuminate this room, so the cup was illuminated, and also got the back, and there's a light on the back, which again, right now looking at it, I could have warmed it up a little bit, but I probably didn't have the CTO in my hand on this one. And I slow down the shutter so I can bring up those shadows from the trees and also the sky being very pretty. So yeah, up, like my exposure is up, my shutter, my ISO is up, my shutter is low, and I have those two lights coming.
So basically, use the camera exposure. It's set up to the to expose for the highlights in the background as well as the shadows for the trees to make a balance. Pretty much for the outdoor lights, and the indoor is pretty much lit by your on-camera flash.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And it was there because we were just coming from speeches and things like that. So we just step out to do that. So it's good to have on wedding day. I like to have a flash on camera to use it if I need it really quick.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I actually just carry V1 on my camera all the time. It's very simple. And lots of time, all you have to do is just bounce somewhere.
Yeah. All right. For me, it's a big no-no. Like I get home and I'm like, oh, what did I do? See, like when the assistant is holding the light, and if there's reflection, and she's pointing towards the lens, it's usually a no. Like, but again, I was deep down, like I had water up to my chest on this one to be able to be there. So I couldn't talk and shoot and protect the camera. Like, sometimes you just have to get the shot and go. I figured I'll fix it later, but try not to do that. And when I talk about finessing light, Aries, if you move it, like zoom in on the BTS one.
Okay, give me 1 sec.
On the couple.
On the couple.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you see how this is the raw file, right? You see how the light it's super harsh, shiny, right? Highlight on his forehead.
It's raw file. Oh, it looks really good straight out of the camera.
Yeah, that's the raw. And then it hit her hair, so her hair is illuminated. And there's some like light over here. So this is all I had to fix later to bring to what I want. But again, I was shooting really fast. So if you can kind of see these things as you were shooting, it was a very quick fix. I should have told my assistant to feather the other way. So I had her aim the flash past them towards the back. So spin behind them. Only the edge of their light would have hit them, and it should be also higher in height, right? Because then it'd be just a soft part hitting them, because she's just with the backlight. It shouldn't be aiming at them so this, instead of me wasting so much time in Photoshop later fixing, it would have been so much easier to say, hey, put the light like 2 feet up and aim past them towards the back, and you'd have fixed. So that's why, like, finessing the light as you're shooting, it's so important and efficient. But yes, I make mistakes. I go fast, and I don't want to miss the shot.
I have a question. You usually have 2 lights set up, right? Like in this case, you have 2 lights, and you only have 1 assistant, if I'm correct. How
you see what happens? You see what happens later.
Which light would you set up first, and which how would you set up your lighting sequence? Like, do you build 1 light and the second light, and
there's no
do you ask your assistant to do?
There's no rule. It's depending
on
you
just put 2 lights there straight away. What do you usually do?
No, there's no rule. You can't go with a preset mentality, because then you don't get creative, right? So you get there first, because look, I'm shooting. I'm underwater, so I have to put the light stand and see, is it firm? Is it solid? Is it gonna stay here? The light stand that's not safe, that's the one she's gonna hold. She may be holding the backlight. She may be holding the main light. I may be turning off one sometimes because I'm so far, and now she's stuck and the couple is moving on the water. I can't fix it. I have to move forward. So I don't go for perfection in moments like this. I want to make sure my equipment is safe. And you see, I make mistakes. It gets better. But it is just like, let's get going. If I can move, if I think I need to move a light fast, maybe that's the one she's going to be holding, because then I can adjust a little bit better. I wish I had a drone light.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
All right, harsh. So
beautiful.
Sometimes I go harsh. You see all the dust on my mirrorless? Mirrorless shows dust more than regular. Sometimes I go harsh. So the environment is giving me harsh light. This is a sunrise. I have all those shadows, right? I was playing with those shadows, the lines, it's there. So it allows me to play with harsh light and not look fake. So I have an assistant. She's behind over there. There's the raw file. She's behind the tree and aiming the light at them. And that the light is pretty high power. I think it's a 200, and it's probably, I want to say quarter power or half power, maybe quarter. I want to bet that was quarter power. See the assistant there?
Yeah.
You see the flash with the sun there on the tree? You can see that.
Yeah. and it's a straight off camera, right? Because I see the dust.
Yeah,
I see the dust on the image, so it's very raw file in case you guys
very
are
raw.
interested.
And then you see that I moved my angle now on the next one, and I just fixed the dust because it was bothering me, but didn't fix her backpack, and you could see there. Yeah.
Nice, very simple lighting.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, David. Oh, this is what you don't want to do when you're working with an assistant. So you have choices, right? And I think
I'm just amazed. Your assistant said yes. I'm just going to say I quit. Now it's time to get a pizza.
She's not even. So this is a destination shoot. I had shot Andy's that's pregnant right now. I had shot their wedding, and because I was in town, she went on maternity, but I didn't have an assistant. That's her friend. That's her boss. So I had never worked with her before, and she was totally fine. She loves photography. She likes to take photos. She's like, I'll help. And she was actually helping. She was showing me cool spots. So she went on the water. And this was there was a hurricane coming that weekend. So it was super stormy. We kept trying to put bags. That's why the Ziploc bags on my light. But we kept going, and we got the shots. And that's the fun part of it.
Oh, man.
I love
people call me. Yeah, next time people call me crazy, I'll show them this image and say, you don't even see the half of it, the crazy, the true craziness.
You see, like there's it's darker on the right. The rain was moving towards us this way. We're like, we gotta go. And see the Ziploc. Yeah, that's to protect my lights over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fancy modifier.
She is actually laughing. Oh my God, this is so much fun.
I have fun.
Yeah, this is so much fun.
Yeah. So this is what I was going to say. Like, you don't want to put your assistant in places that are hard to remove. But again, there's a storm coming. We're just moving fast. Had I put the assistant a couple of feet back, it would have been so much easier to remove, So when I'm thinking, I make those decisions. But sometimes I don't think. I just keep going,
Yeah. Do you use the context-aware remover tool or?
This one I outsourced because I was busy this week. This was very recent. I think this is like
too much work, right?
Yeah,
too much work.
This one I outsourced. Mm-hmm.
I know. When I look at those branches, I was like, oh.
Yeah, no. I look at it. I'm like, what did I do, man? And then you pay. Yeah. Okay. So easy way to fix.
And you probably showed your clients at the back of your camera. Now you can't just delete it out of the collection.
You get it. Yeah. After I saw, I was like, oh man, she should have like 2 feet back.
And her friends were stepping in the water. You just couldn't get rid of that one. No,
you get it. So don't do as I say, don't do as I do, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll wait to fix the assistant. I saw that and I'm like, oh man, what did I do? I went to the other side. So, exactly. I don't dress. Me neither. I always end up getting out sandy and dirty and all that. Yeah. I moved to the right. So that's the same scene. The assistant is still over there. And I just moved to the right and I got this shot. So now the assistant is not even there. And that's how you should kind of try to crop your assistant out in camera. But, sometimes we make mistakes. Yeah, that's Florida. That's Sarasota. It's called Beer Can Island. Ooh, so same shoot. See, we're moving fast because right now it's actually raining on us. And look where that's actually Tina. Tina is her wife, and she is holding the light over there for us. And she's there, and it was hard. Again, that was on the patch of the outsourced, but it was a cool shot, right? Like we're walking back to the car, and we walked on this tree tunnel, and I'm like, everybody, stop, hold on, one more. And then there was no time to just get the light and I'll fix it later. Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great idea. Next time I'll just outsource my clone stamp tools. Ask for your contact letter.
Yeah.
just simply too much work.
Sometimes I do it. Sometimes I do it if I have the time, and if it's something that I'll do a few, but send it out.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
Same shoot. All I did was removing her.
Yeah.
I feel like you're just moving fast with one light, many different looks. Oh, pretty cool and dramatic. That's the 600.
Yeah, I think this is cool. This is a cool example of.
Look!
Hey, look! This is cool. A very good example of how much light you need, right? Or what sort of exposure you would get before lights. If you look at that system, she's pitch black. So that means basically before, without the light, without the flash, what would you get? It's a silhouette like shot. And this is how you expose as well. You expose for the highlights, right? So you all get all the cloud details. Don't worry about the lights. Then turn on the lights. Just make sure it's enough power to lead your couple up. In terms of Cami, she likes extra wide angle. If you find that with your lights at full power, it's still not enough, just bring your lights a bit closer, leads your subject properly, and remove the lights and assistant in the post-production. It takes a bit more time, but you still get the lights. You still get the perfect shots.
You don't have to deliver 30 wide shots. As long as you get a few, and then after that you can zoom in on them, and then you're cropping your assistant on camera. So but this at least shows you where the assistant is and all of that. But yes, what you said, it's the point. I want to take an exposure and see how they look like before turning on my light. Do I need a little light or a lot of light? Yeah.
Beautiful place. I like the purple flower in the foreground. Just get a touch of the complementary color palette. And where did you hide the lights?
So one was on the right side and the other one on the back side. I believe the back one is hiding under trees, and the one on the right I removed. I always find, again, like we were talking about greenery and sunsets, right? Very often we lose all the detail on the greens when we're doing something like this. So I love that image because it's just an example of, if you keep that shutter slow and paying attention to that exposure, you will be able to have detail on everything on a moodier shot, which I love.
Cool. Just one question out of curiosity. On wedding day like this, how long does it take for you to set up the shots?
I usually have about an hour between a ceremony and reception. 20 minutes goes for family formals, and about 20 minutes, 25 minutes I have with the bride and groom total, right? So I can't take too long. It's quick. I don't know how long there is. That's a tough question, but it's quick. That's why you see a lot of the same setup as I was saying on the beginning, right? It's like one on 45, one on the back, and then you get creative with it. One on the 45, on the back, and get creative with it. Because then you start to have that system, like at least the first one, you got it. Now you move on.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. Number two is just build lights one by one. Yeah, build one lights and use a second one. Yeah. And
I didn't own a 35 then. That's a 2470 or a wide one. I think it's a 2470 because it doesn't look like a wide one. I actually just bought a 35 a month ago, 2 months ago. I didn't own a 35 or a 50 before.
Cool. A gentle reminder, Cami, we'll have another 5 minutes. If there's any particular shots you want me to show, no. It is the time. Let me know.
Someone is asking about 300. There's some family portraits there with the green on the back. Let's see. I can't see from here. Let me see. Because that I know I did with the 300. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah. You need to come back, Cami, for us to finish this talk. We are barely half of the talk yet. So Maybe let's just have another chat after New Christmas. Yep.
No. No, I think we passed that one already then.
Mm.
Oh, I want to show you. Go to 45.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yes, boss. Yeah.
Sorry. Can you please go to 35? 45?
Yeah, that's nice, huh? Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Yeah.
Oh, your 45 is different because we deleted 44.
Yeah, we did it one. 44. Okay.
45.
Sure.
So that's what happens.
It's okay. You know, without the nice talk, you sound like Felicia, so you're fine. She's not watching the Facebook Live. That's fine. Yeah.
Send her my love. This is what happens sometimes to my light stands on my adventures. So don't do that.
Sorry.
But I got the shot.
Wow, it's beautiful shot. The light's actually, it's falling? Is the light falling?
Yeah,
oh dear God.
I broke that light on that shoot. But go on the slide before now.
Yeah. Are you sure this is the way we want to educate our audience?
Hey,
don't do that, guys. Don't do
but look how beautiful the shot was.
It's just gorgeous. Yes.
You break a light, but you get the shot. Right? 2 lights.
Well,
Talk to me. What?
Yeah, it's beautiful shots. I just love the cloud almost form a heart shape. Did you guys see it? It's almost like a heart around the couple. It's absolutely
so
beautiful.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. I would break light for this image. Seriously. Yeah. But if the light I can break is yours, then that's even better.
The best thing you can do.
My own light. Yeah.
I would love to have 2 assistants at all time, but can't afford that right now.
Yeah. It's just simply, on the wedding day, it's simply hard to have 2 assistants. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. You'll be lucky to get 1 assistant. Yep. All right.
Let's please go to 48, sir. Because it's an indoor shot. We haven't done indoor yet. 47, sorry. I'm confused on our numbers here.
Yeah.
Oh, so nice. That's a small light.
Yep.
It's a small light. But I put the assistant on a very difficult place to remove. So guess what I did? I stepped back. So now if you go forward.
Yep.
Ta-da!
That's a great idea.
So then you hide your assistant, and she went to the other side.
I thought you were going to say you outsourced the retouching again.
No. So then 49. So you go 1 forward. Yeah. Or if I wanted to go inside the room, you just crop different. One forward, please, sir.
1 forward. Yeah. Yeah.
Ta-da!
That's beautiful, sir.
So you don't have to outsource. But retouchers need work too,
You know how to quickly get rid of your assistant without outsourcing and without moving. I have another trick.
Talk to me.
Message Roger 10. Sorry, that's a very dry joke. I'm so sorry. All right, one last image and let's share one last image and I'll let you go.
Oh, I'll tell you. Oh, there's 60. 59 on yours. I don't know. You tell. There's so many here.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love the complementary color palettes. The blue versus orange. It's so subtle.
So
I quite like this one. You should send this one in for competition.
The main light is a mirror, a bathroom mirror.
Yeah.
And then the backlight was that little, how do you call the hockey puck from Godox? The little round one, LED? The one that changes color.
R1, Godox R1.
So if you look, I left the shiny thing on the door there. If you zoom in, her hair is shiny. She has some backlight. That's the LED light.
Yeah.
So then she has shine on her hair. So slide to your left.
Yeah.
See the shiny thing that's between the door, up there, up.
Yeah.
You see, that's someone is holding that little.
Over here.
Yeah. I left there
so smart. Yeah.
Just to give that little shine on the hair, but the main light was the bathroom mirror light.
Yeah, that's so smart.
That was lucky too, though,
it's
because
amazing.
the mirror was on the right place with the right composition. There's a lot of luck.
Yeah. Alternatively, you can just take out the LC500 light stick to lit it up.
Yes, these are great people. Like the mom of the groom is a photographer, so it was really, really, really great to hang out with them the whole day. Yeah, this was in Ohio. Good
That's
people.
beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful image. I love the color palettes. The blue actually complements the orange beautifully, and it's all large piece of colors. It's almost like I don't know. It's like it's just like a piece of nice desserts, right? There's orange cup. It's almost like, I don't know, cupcake. It's a seaweed cupcake decorating with some cream sauce, and the blue comes with some purple, which is analogous color palettes with blue on the left side. Everything just lit up perfectly and beautifully. It gives, and it's very calm because it's symmetry, and Bride has this beautiful, elegant, quiet pose. Actually, it works with the whole tone and vibe of the image. It's just gorgeous. And
what's the
thank you,
score
Cami.
area?
99. 99. Yay. Thank you so much, Cami, and for the talk. And it's absolutely informational, and we love the way you use two lights to lead your subject. And thank you for sharing to do, or more importantly, not to do, and to protect your lights,
right?
as well.
Being honest is important.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and thank you for sharing us how to differentiate when and where to use 8600 or 8200 or 8300. And even LED lights for different lighting scenarios. I guess for the people, I hope you do carry something useful home for your next wedding or portrait shoots.
Yeah.
And I do hope you enjoy this talk. And for now, and stay tuned. We will see you guys until next week. And bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.